So it's been a good long while since we last talked about Stranger Things on this channel. Good long while. Like, when was the last time really? Probably when the most recent season came out? All the way back in 2022 for season 4? So over 2 years ago now. Well, that's certainly a long time. And recently they put out a little video to announce that they're halfway through shooting for Stranger Things season 5. And that's honestly insane. In the course of that video, Millie Bobby Brown states that in the onset of filming for season 1, she was 10, and now she's 20. My god, over 10 years, and we've got 5 seasons worth of content. And we're supposed to sit here and pretend like these supposed high schoolers are not full-on adults at this stage? Mike turning up in California in Stranger Things 4, that was already a shock to the system. Like, how old is his character meant to be there? 14? Jeez. He does stretch credibility and believability at that point. But yeah, they say this season's going to be the biggest and best one yet, filled with heaps of twists and turns. So I guess there's nothing else for it but to settle in for a massive wait. I know they're saying early 2025, but I do have my doubts here. And I get that this is premium TV or what have you, but at a certain point, is there ever going to be a time where we can go back to reasonable gaps between installments? I feel like if it's at least annually, you're able to keep up the big plot points in your mind a lot longer. But when you're having gaps of, 3 years? It all gets hazy after a while, like majorly hazy. And it's happened across the board with a lot of different shows for me. They're now choosing to have an off season, but it's gotten particularly egregious for Stranger Things if we're being honest. But yeah, that's just a bit of a complainy preamble. We got that video, which honestly, I don't even know why they made this. It's sort of a trailer, but not really. Maybe them realizing, oh shit, it's been 2 years since we had any real content whatsoever, and we need to put something out so people remember this show exists. I guess it's never too early to start the hype train. And you know, I've complained about the delays and the breaks and whatnot, but it's very clear to me that at the end of the day, in the weeks and months leading up to the show's release, the hype is going to be off the charts. It's one of the most popular and significant shows currently running. And this is going to be the end of it, so it's going to be huge no matter what. But yeah, I figured, well, we have a bunch of behind the scenes stuff of them filming certain scenes, so why not go over some of that footage and see if we have anything interesting on offer? I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously some of it's simply hype footage, images of the crew building sets, drone footage of the filming lot and the studios, cast members driving to work or getting out of their cars and trailers. You know, just normal sorts of behind the scenes types of shots. So obviously there's nothing hugely special there, but they do have certain sets, clips, shots of them filming that might clue us into some potential plot points. So I think taking a look at that would be pretty interesting. Okay, so first up we have a shot of Castle Byers, a classic location from the show. Although, was it not destroyed by Will at some point? Didn't he go all rage mode on it when he realized the boys would prefer to talk about girls than sit around and play D&D with him like they used to? And this also makes me wonder, did they all just pack up and move back to Hawkins again? After all, they were living in California. Did they buy the old house back? Because that's where Castle Byers is, right? Right near the old place in the woods? I kind of hope so, because I feel like having the characters split up out of Hawkins, that would be the shits for the final season. So I suspect they've all moved back based on this. Next up, there's a shot of Dustin zooming around on a bike looking like a grown-ass man. Yeah, this is the problem of using 10 real-life years and pretending like only a handful have passed in the story. It just takes me out of it at times. And I expect it's only going to get worse if they have scenes at school or in class. And I think it's even more noticeable because we did see them as little kids. I'm not totally naive. I get that Steve and whatnot were adults playing teens even in season 1, but since they were cast that way initially, it felt less weird than seeing a little kid age up into a man on screen, but pretending like he's still a little kid. You get me? And yeah, the next 2 shots confirm we're getting more stuff at school, first with an exterior shot of Hawkins High, and then a shot of the original 4 in the cafeteria just chillin'. Okay, so this definitely makes the ending of the previous season feel less bleak. I mean, didn't huge tears get ripped into the fabric of reality at the end of Stranger Things 4? Weren't there huge plumes of smoke, creatures in the mist? Is that all on pause for now? Did them beating up on Vecna slow down his progress and force him to retreat and hold his creatures back for like a year? Is that why? Otherwise, I don't know. It feels like a bit of an odd tone shift to go from a disaster zone with monsters coming into the world to all good. I mean, obviously not all good. There's still going to be drama, but safe to habitate at the very least. Next up, we see most of the youngsters and Joyce in a room that looks pretty bare bones, like a warehouse or facility of some sort. But the couch makes me think it could be Murray's latest hidey hole. I don't know. Also, maybe it's just my low resolution, but does Dustin have bruises on his face? Kinda looks like it, or maybe a bloody nose? So what do we reckon here? Beat up by bullies, driven off the road when on his bike by government agents, injured fighting a beastie? Lots of options, although usually the storylines in Stranger Things do start kind of slow and integrate a more human element, so Maybe that includes him getting wailed on by bullies. I mean, part of his story in the last episode or so of 4 was him trying to help people understand that Eddie wasn't some psycho, satanic, cultist murderer or anything, but rather was actually a hero who gave his life to save others. So I guess people are going to give him flack at some point in the early days, perhaps? Although I don't know how much time you'd actually want to spend on that sort of preamble type of story, considering this is the final season and every minute counts. We see that 11 has hair again, and this time it's not some Joyce Byers homebrew monstrosity. Seriously, that woman should never be left alone with hair and a pair of scissors ever again. I mean, I assume it's her doing. Al had normal hair when she lived with Hopper during season 3. Then when Joyce takes in Al and they move to California, suddenly, this. Bad luck 11. But she had that shaved off and now we're back. And yeah, just honestly a lot of behind the scenes clips after this and actors walking around looking amazed with narration over the top about how good the show's gonna be and how much it means to them. But then we get some more clips. We see, I think this is Mike's younger sister, a character I feel like nobody ever really interacts with at all, Holly. And it looks like we're actually going to be getting some scenes from her. Not some minor scenes either, but full-on spooky stuff. I mean, it kind of looks like her. I think it's her. Same hairstyle and all. The bedroom looks right in terms of the style and design for somebody her age. So yeah, I think this is pretty cool. On top of that, Erica now seems to have a sidekick. Like if there's just a single scene for this dude, not sure why you'd chuck him in the video, you know? Looks like there's going to be more scenes at the graveyard. And one with Mike and Nancy, which, about time really. They're legitimately siblings, but their relationship has not really been fleshed out all that much over the years. So it would be nice to see more of it before it's too late. We have a shot with Robin and Joyce, which is not a duo I was expecting at all, but it has me intrigued. That's a lot of manic energy in one conversation if it comes at the right time. On top of that, it seems like they've calmed down on Steve's hair, more back to what it was during season 1, which is, for me, probably my favourite Steve look. Also, when his storyline was the best. Great redemption arc. You love to see it. There's more Will aimlessly looking out at nothing and walking forward. Are he going to get possessed again? Or is he just going to be feeling his neck for the entire season and knowing Vecna's around somewhere? On top of that, looks like Hopper's a hobo. Shame. I missed his more groomed looks from earlier seasons. More agents, more gun battles, more Vecna, more Upside Down, more questionable 80s fashion choices from 11. And my god, they're only halfway through shooting this, and this wasn't even a trailer, and yet, suddenly, despite complaining at the start of the video, I am really hyped after this. Marketing team have done their job well. Damn well. And so yeah, there's not really much else to say at this point. Just please finish shooting the show and release it. I'm begging you, please. And so with all that being said, this has been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of this Stranger Things halfway hype trailer thing? Whatever you want to call it. Was there anything interesting you think I missed? Maybe not. I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.